Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff podcast, where we talk about all things Star Wars. My name is James,
And my name is Zach.
and welcome. Yeah, here we go. We're gonna nerd out today about Star Wars, which that's like probably my
Boom.
favorite thing to do. But before we get started, we have some amazing people to thank. We got to thank our top tier patrons: Liam McCallion, Kevin Leiniger, Deb McCaffrey, Zach Netzel, Maya Morris, Adam Haber, Front Row King, Cam from Indiana, Mariana Atia Arnold, Resk Jedi 27, Alex Blundell, Indiana Solo, BC Dumit, and Sean Smith. Thank you very much
Yes.
for all your support.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Legion Sabers, again, go to legionsabers.com. Code STUFF at checkout gets you 15% off. And David and Mary were actually in Vegas this past weekend with hanging out with Legion Sabers at Level Up Con at the LA Convention Center. And it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm really sad I wasn't able to go. Have you ever been to Vegas before, Zach?
I haven't. No, I've definitely wanted to go, but haven't made the trek over there yet. How
Mm.
about yourself?
I have been twice.
Okay.
Actually, no, I take it back 3 times. I helped shoot a movie back in 2020. We went to Vegas to shoot this
Nice.
movie, which was very, very weird. And then very weird in that we had a bunch of film equipment that we were just rolling through the lobby, and nobody said a word to us. Everybody just looked at us and was like, "All right, cool." But that was the weird part. And then the second time was for my good friend's birthday, which was on New Year's Eve. I,
Oh, nice, dude. I bet
happy
no one else
birthday
was
to
there.
him. Oh my! It took us 8 hours to drive from LA to um
Whew,
to Vegas,
that's
is
crazy.
not which is not supposed to be. And then a third time I went with my wife. We went to go see Cirque du Soleil, a Beatles
Oh,
show
cool.
in
Cool.
Vegas, and that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Um, I highly recommend going. It's
Yeah, I'd
fun.
love to for sure.
Um, but yeah, Maul Shadow Lord chapters 7 and 9 were dropped this today at midnight. Chapter 7 is of course titled, and I had the page. I'm sorry I lost it. Okay. Chapter 7 is called Call to the Oblivion, and then chapter 8 was The Creeping Fear. Um First, you and I just finished watching this thing.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
I mean, I'm glad I don't have to worry about these episodes being good week after week. They're just good. Like that's nice.
Yeah.
It feels good. It's sad that it's already ending next week, but I've got a feeling it's going to end very well for this chapter of Maul's story, at least this season. You know, it seems like there's more coming. But
Mhm.
it seemed to keep the trend going of good writing, good action, compelling stories, good character writing, good character moments, like across the board. Like there were so many good character moments. I think Lawson kind of took the back seat a little bit in these couple of episodes, but we got to see some. Two Boots got to shine a little bit outside of what we've seen him doing previously over the past couple of episodes, where he's kind of been by the books, and we see at the end of chapter 8 where Lawson is trying to trade himself in for his son, and it's like, oh, that deal expired, you know, and they kind of run off and yada yada yada. We
Yeah.
get to see him shine a little bit there, and I know we kind of joked around about how Two Boots losing his boots was going to be the straw that broke the camel's back for him to bail on the Empire, and maybe that was the first step, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, it was cool to see. Man, I'm still trying to process this. Just kind of like last week, just jumping right in. It's my thoughts are so raw and recent, but overall, great impression on this episode or these chapters. But what about you, James? What are you thinking?
Same. I'm kidding. No. Um, I just say that. Don't say anything after that. It's like, well, thank you for joining us. No. No. I was really happy with what happened, and the fact that that chapter 7 picks up literally right where we left off on chapter 6 with Maul
Yeah.
and Devin and Riley in the tunnel, made it go like, okay, we're going. This
Mm,
party is starting. We're not letting up. We finally figured out. I mean, we still don't know who Marak was talking to. He could have been
yeah.
speaking to who we see in chapter 7, or he could have been speaking to somebody else who sins who we see in chapter 7.
Cool.
Um, and the action, and like you said, Lawson does kind of take a back seat to these, to the at least the chapter 7, because we focus really on Maul and what Maul's going through and how
Yeah.
his group are
Yeah.
trying to escape.
Mm.
There's a moment in chapter 7 whenever he's like, Maul tells Devin, "Hey, you fight really well." Um,
Mm.
and she's like, "Who was your master?" And
Oh,
if you paid attention, you hear the Emperor's theme in the background playing, and there's the
yeah, it
Emperor's
was
theme, and I was like,
amazing.
very
Uh,
subtle, and I was like, "Oh, man." He doesn't even have to be there, but the Emperor
yeah.
is ever so present. I will say the ending of this chapter of 7 was very intense, and
Mm.
again, I had to tell myself, "This is not a kids show at all, like, this is nowhere
Right.
near close to a kids, show. This is a very, very intense, um, uh, story that Star Wars is
Mm.
telling, and it just happens to be animated, so it's one of those things that I feel bad for people who are like, "Oh, yeah, let's watch this as a family," and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is intense."
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Um, so we get introduced to a new Inquisitor,
Kind of.
and kind of. What do you mean kind of?
So,
Why do you say kind
this
of?
Inquisitor appeared in Tales of the Jedi, the
Mhm.
last episode where Ahsoka, you've seen Tales of the Jedi, right, James? Like, I'm sure it came out
Ye
like 4 years
yes.
ago now,
Yes.
3 or 4 years ago, and the Inquisitor that Ahsoka kills in that farm planet
Oh,
is
yeah, that's
the
right.
Crow, the 11th brother. So, I guess he's kind of got plot armor for this show,
He's gonna be okay.
right? And one, we could kind of argue the same for Marak, but kind of not.
Mur
But
Murrock, yeah, he's gonna go through a weird
yeah,
journey,
yeah.
here pretty soon.
But
But
anyway, sorry to stop you in your tracks.
no, no, you're good. The 11th brother, or the Crow is what we're kind of also referring to him as. Um, v Great character design.
Oh
When
yeah,
he walks out, I was like, "Whoa, here we go.
he's scary.
This is gonna get intense," and we get a really good lightsaber fight between Marak, the Crow, and Maul.
Mm.
Um, and it was interesting to see Maul kind of, in a vulnerable jeez, I can't talk. I can't even speak right now. Anyways, it was crazy to see him, like, kind of running away in the fight. Like, he wasn't the
Mm.
Maul that we were hoping he was gonna be. You
Yeah,
see him kind of, like, realizing, "Hey, I can't take these 2 guys on. Like, this is a little bit too much." And
yeah.
you see him kind of running away. He tries his best, and also the plot of his leg still being messed up from before.
Mm.
And of course, the Crow during this fight knows that his leg's messed up, and what does he do? He hits him again on his leg to further,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
bring Maul down. Um, I will say, like, that showdown on the bridge with Maul's troops, the Empire
Oh
coming in, I was like, "Good grief, this is great,"
yeah.
and the Empire, again, it feels very scary, which is, we're not used to getting that in the original trilogy, but the
Right.
Empire is a very scary force in Maul Shadow Lord, and
Mm.
do you like that they're doing how they're kinda treating the Empire? Do you like how they're
Yeah.
doing that?
Oh yeah, because I think they set a similar tone, obviously in Andor, Rogue
Mhm.
One too. And it's a little bit different than what we see in the original trilogy, but also, in the Bad Batch with the takeover of the TK program, eventually going into the Stormtroopers, which it was cool to hear Devin mention Stormtroopers were chasing them. Did you catch that?
No, I
She
did not.
so she mentioned stormtroopers out loud. I'm like, okay, so they must be recognized as stormtroopers at this point, which is kind of cool just because we see, the clones become obsolete so fast. And then they
Mhm.
introduce, volunteers, and like the TK troopers are the first phase out of clones. And then the stormtrooper program kind of takes over. And obviously these TK stormtroopers, whatever you want to call them, are based off the Ralph McQuarrie like concept art for the stormtroopers for the original trilogy,
Mhm.
which is super super cool. But it's sweet to see um, that I guess this faceless army, which is kind of weird because the clones were made to be a faceless army, but they all want the individuality and like their own names and yada yada yada. And then the Empire takes people who volunteer and try to make them all one and the same.
Mhm.
which is very, very interesting to me. It's a cool concept for storytelling, right? But very, very interesting how it's such a dramatic flip. But it's so cool to see how they just have overwhelming numbers. Like their
Y
troopers might not be super deadly, but like they all just show up like that, like just kind of out of nowhere and overwhelm the situation.
Exactly, and you have them going up against, Da Brothers of Dathomir, if you may. You
Yeah,
have them
yeah.
going up against Mandalorians, and Mandalorians are like, "This is too much," like, "This is
Hmm.
we're good warriors, but against an army that just has unlimited
Yeah.
numbers, there's no way you can defeat them."
Mm,
And I feel like showing the Empire, like this in Maul's Shadow Lord, I think is a really good touch for the story
totally.
to show that it's they are a force to be reckoned with. And even though, yeah, like you said, when we get to A New Hope, Empire, like, yeah, okay, the stormtroopers, they're funny, they can't hit anything. but I will say, watching that bridge sequence and seeing how the Empire just kept
Mm,
coming in, you're like, oh,
yeah,
yep, this is how they defeated the whole galaxy, pretty much.
for sure.
Um, and then we see Maul get cornered, and we finally hear the moment that is gonna drive Maul insane, which it does, is the Emperor wants you dead. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
there's no surrender for you. The Emperor wants you dead.
Do you think he
And
tried to surrender when he like was on his knees and put his hands up, or was that like really just setting up like being able to pull down the ceiling?
I think, yeah, I thought that at first, but of course, once you get to chapter 8, you see him look over and see the
Yeah,
escape and go, "Okay, this is how I'm gonna get out of here." And then
right.
because at first I was like, "Oh my gosh, Maul just
Yeah,
surrendered," and we only see
yeah.
him do that once, which was when he fought Palpatine, when
Right.
Palpatine showed up and beat the living crap out of him and
Oh,
Savage.
so good.
He was telling him, like, he's like, "Please stop, like, please." And I'm like, that's intense for Maul to be literally about to cry saying, "Please don't hurt
Yeah,
me."
yeah.
Um, I still think that's one of the best lightsaber fights in
Oh,
Star Wars, was Palpatine versus
yeah.
Savage and Maul.
I
That was
totally agree. Well, and at the end, he's like, "Have mercy, please." Like,
Yeah,
I think he was legitimately trying to surrender there, and
yeah,
Palpatine's like, "There's no mercy," and bzz, like he just
yep.
gets him. But so
That sound effect, Zach, was really great, by the
oh,
way. I want
thank
you to know
you.
that
I
was
hope we're
really
not
good.
struck with a copyright from Skywalker Ranch.
That'd be great.
But it's wild to see like yeah, Maul does have a breaking point where he'll surrender. I don't think it's to Inquisitors, right? Like we
Yeah,
saw,
no.
but obviously when the big guy's got to show up and kick your door down himself, he'll bring you to his knees and really make you beg for mercy, which
Yeah,
is crazy. It's
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
And like I said, when he first did that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, are we seeing Maul
yeah.
surrender?" Then I'm like, "Oh, never mind, no, we're not."
Psych.
Um, did you catch the moment? So chapter 8 literally starts like
Right.
immediately after chapter 7. Um,
Was
did
this with him
you
jumping at the bridge, like out the
jump
window?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you catch that
The sheave
reference?
spin, like that's what I call
Yes.
it. I've always called it
Even the
that.
even the yell, even
Yeah.
the yell he
Yeah.
makes, I was like, "Oh, this is great. This is Maul, this is a good, what's what I'm looking for? Callback to, like,
For sure.
Palpatine trained Maul,
Yeah.
so Maul knows all these tricks and everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was a really good touch. And then when he's at
Yeah.
the bottom of the chasm, what were your thoughts on that part when he's at the bottom of this
When he's
chasm?
like just laying there.
Hmm.
Well, I guess I'm gonna take a small step back to the part where he's kind of screaming like as he's like spinning towards the bridge. Um
Yes.
like I believe the novelization of Revenge of the Sith spells out that like scream that Palpatine lets out. It's like some sort of like some Sith I don't know, scream, I guess for lack of better words, but it's used to like
Shriek.
yeah, used to like stun your opponents.
Oh, okay.
And that's like I don't know, like I think the novelization kind of helps justify
I was gonna say,
how
Wha-
a bunch of Jedi got sliced down real fast as they go up against Darth Sidious, but he does the same thing to Ahsoka on Mandalore. He is in Maul right before they square off. He kind of does the same thing as he jumps at her,
Mhm.
but it's kind of cool to see that he did that anyway. But to your question of him just kind of lying there, at the bottom of the chasm. Like it's the beginning of what we see, I guess, like visions through the force, right? I'd say that's a
Mhm.
force vision to him.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and it starts off with him kind of seeing a younger version of himself in the water. And that's kind of the start, but it's, he's not only physically broken, but I think he's mentally broken in a lot of different ways. And he was even more mentally broken when we saw him in the Clone Wars when he first showed up, and Mother Talzin had to use Night Sister magic to kind of bring him back to sanity.
Mhm.
But he still remembers all the things that drive his hurt. And they kind of chop that together with the other plot of the episode as we move along. Like they cut it into a couple sequences, but it's very cool to see his true drive for wanting to I feel like his drive for wanting to get rid of the emperor has changed a little bit, because he wanted to smite the emperor at the end of the Clone Wars by killing Anakin and getting rid of his like prized pupil that he kind of knew about. Like
Mhm.
Anakin was long groomed for his role as my master's new apprentice, but he kind of didn't know how that would all happen. So he just wanted to kind of, shove it in his face a little bit. But now we see that motive change where eventually we see, and there's definitely more I want to talk about with these visions, but he's like, I'll never let him do that to anybody again. Like what
Yeah,
happened to
that
me,
was
like I'll never let that happen to anybody again, which was incredible. Like Maul shedding a tear was not on my bingo card for this series, but they did it so well.
I was gonna say the same thing. Seeing him like that, and it gave me chills watching
Yeah,
that sequence because I'm
yeah.
like, we've never seen Maul like this before. We've never seen Maul in this vulnerable state. Yeah, I said it right. Um, and what was when he was there at the bottom of the chasm, the first thing I thought about was, oh my gosh, this is the Flash. This is like when he landed after Obi-Wan defeated him. Like this is what was
Oh yeah.
probably going. Like
Bottom of the
when he
pit.
landed and he's just like, oh my gosh, what's my next
Mm.
step? Um, the the sound effect of the laser walls from episode 1
Oh dude.
opening, I was like, "Cool," and just the shadow of Kenobi with the green blade
Yeah.
coming at him, I was
Incredible.
like, "Whoa, man." I was like, "That's what he saw. That's what to
Yeah.
him, that's what it looked like."
Yeah.
And, I was like, "This is good. This is really great." And then of course, we see the him telling his younger self, "No, like, don't go," pretty much, like, "No,
Right. Right.
don't go with this man." And, yeah, that moment where he looks at himself and he says, "I'm
Mm.
sorry," to his younger self, I'm like, "This
Yeah.
is" like, I was like, "This is great." Like, this is a really g for people who look at this and go, "Ah, it's just a kid, it's just a cartoon." I was like, "There's some
There's layers, guys. There's
heavy,
layers.
heavy stuff going on with
Oh
Maul in
yeah.
this show."
Oh yeah.
And, I was blown away by these 2 episodes, especially chapter 8,
Yeah.
but 7 was great, but chapter 8 really just did showed us a side of Maul we've never seen before.
That's not on display a lot for him because he's always just been bloodthirsty, like always chasing after the next target, or I need to, I guess, get my revenge on so and such, whether it's Kenobi or the Emperor. Now it's kind of shifting, but that same hate is still driving him, and it really puts things into perspective when we see him kind of reliving the death of his brother. Like Savage
Mhm.
is like at first when Maul is a kid, he's like, please don't go. And he's like, I have to. And like we see Palpatine like just kind of, just standing there. And then he kind of puts his hand on his shoulder and they walk away. And he's like, you monster, like, tell me what you're doing. And then immediately we see Maul trying to attack Sidious. And Sidious is like, that's pathetic. And just, bzz, there we go again with
Mm.
the same zappies.
There it
But,
goes, yeah, you
um,
brought it back, yeah.
yeah, no, it's crazy to see how brutal that training must have been. And that's that's just this like a sliver of what it
Yeah.
was like in the grand scheme of his tenure as a city, or I guess Sidious's apprentice. But it's
And again, it's so weird. It's so absolutely strange that he died in 1999, Darth
yeah,
Maul
yeah, right,
died in 1990 for that's what I thought. I was like, "He's dead." There's no okay, cool.
yeah,
Little lame, but cool.
but he gone.
And look at us now,
Yeah,
2026.
he's got his own
Almost
show.
30 years later, we're like, "Dude, Maul is like the great." It's insane
Yeah,
that Filoni and Lucas were able to bring him back from the dead, and it made sense. It
for
wasn't
sure.
forced. And then
I,
him and Rebels again, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this makes
yeah,
so much sense that he's here."
yeah.
So,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then what about that ending though? That the very end of
Oh,
chapter 8?
yeah. Okay. So, just kind of along the story, I guess like just going from all of the mall based plot points of this episode or chapter. They go to Vario's office, and he was the
Mhm.
crime boss that was killed in episode 1. I think it was episode or chapter 1 or 2. I think it was
Yeah.
chapter 1. um Wait, Demas. No, sorry, it was Demas. Vario
Oh, Vario's
kills
who's going there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Vario kills Demas. um and it's just an empty office with pretty good lighting. Like, the tone in that room looked really cool for no reason. And um it was very cool that Cass is like to Ludi Vario is like, "You idiot, why are you talking to anybody through comms right now?" And he's like, "Don't worry, I'm a smuggler. Like, I've been around the horn before." And we see he's talking to someone, and then he goes and pours himself a drink. He's like, "Oh, like, this is great. I just got a meeting request from Crimson Dawn." And as soon as they said Crimson Dawn, I'm like, okay, Dryden Voss. And then he said Dryden Voss like right after that. And it's really cool that we see that happen, because I got this picture here if you're watching us on YouTube. So these are the
Yep.
syndicate leaders that Maul tells to go into hiding. And on the far right, we see Dryden Voss, who was part of the Shadow Collective around the time of the Siege of Mandalore. And, obviously he was part of the syndicate leaders that bailed on him when things took a turn for the worse. But it sounds like now that the Pikes are back under Maul's control, which has kind of been quiet since it happened. Like, he kind of
Mhm.
took over the Pikes, and then it hasn't really been talked about. But I wonder
Yeah.
if that caused enough rumbling in the syndicate underworld to where Crimson Dawn's like, "Oh, Maul might be back. Maybe it would be in our best interest to square up with him again." But
Yeah.
um, that was very interesting. But what did you think,
That
James?
I was like, "Yes, yes, thank you." We're getting there, you know what I mean? Like, we're getting
Yeah,
to the Solo, we're getting to the Dryden Voss Crimson Dawn bit, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. When they dropped it, I said, "This is great. This is really good." Oh, we got somebody named Craig
What's up,
on
Craig?
Facebook. I didn't think we are going to see Vader because the one figure was in Maul's vintage collection. Um I see what you're saying. So you didn't think we were gonna see Vader at all during this, and we hadn't seen him yet. Um, yeah, Vader showing up now seems like a season 2 thing
I agree.
after we got the
Totally agree.
Crow.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, I think if they're gonna do Vader, and I hate to say this, they're gonna pull a acolyte Yoda bit where the
Hmm.
very end we see Vader, almost like at the end of season 1 of
Yeah,
Rebels when
yeah.
Vader came walking. I think we're gonna get like a hologram, and then you're gonna see Vader talking
Mm.
and saying, "Okay, I'm gonna come out and I'll help you hunt down this monster Maul." And I think the climax, now that we've seen these 2 episodes, I think the climax of season 2 will most likely be the showdown between Vader
Yeah.
and Maul. And talk about, greatness. You know what I mean? Talk about things that you dream of as a kid, where you're like, "Oh,
Oh,
that'd be
yeah.
cool if Darth Vader fought Darth Maul," but then you're like, "There's no way that's even possible."
Right.
It's I okay, what do you think? Is it 100% certain it's gonna happen, or you think there's a slight chance it might not happen for
Well,
season
there's
2?
always a chance it might not happen. I mean, I think it will happen throughout the run of the show. Whether it's season 2 or not, I don't know. Because there's I don't want to beat a dead horse, but there's so much time between this and Solo that can be filled. And I don't know
Mhm.
how far they want to take it. I don't know what they like. I don't know if they want to build up Maul's empire super fast and then have it torn down just as fast, but I don't know if they're going to let him marinate in his success and just let him feel like he's kind of winning, and then eventually Vader gets involved. But I do
Mm.
think the because we know he eventually has nothing at some point post Solo. I would like to think that's because of Vader. I really would.
Yeah, it kind of writes itself that he is in charge of Crimson Dawn. He is kind
Right.
of, the overlord of everything, and then Vader shows up and
Yeah.
destroys him, and everything is lost at that
Right.
point. It
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. It kind of writes itself, and we'll see. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm
Mhm.
wondering if we're gonna see a time jump between season 1 and season 2.
Mm.
Like, maybe Devon's
Yeah.
character will be, older when we get to season 2. We go, "Okay,
Right.
time's passed.
Right.
Here we go," and
Hmm.
everything, and,
Yeah.
I don't
That's a
know,
good point.
man.
I'm shocked
Eh
Master Daki's still alive, honestly.
Isn't
Like, I
it
don't
weird that
want
we're
him to
all
die. I love him. He's great. He's
Yeah.
such a great character, but you'd think if anyone were to bite the dust first, it'd be him.
It's Docky, yeah, and it's so crazy he's still alive, which makes me think his death is gonna be just so,
Oh,
so
yeah.
sad,
They've done way
and
more with him than I thought they would throughout this season, and I've loved every second that he's
which
had.
which I think is pretty good because I
Yeah.
think we were all expecting that story-wise, because Star Wars has done that before, where they introduce a character, and within the first episode or 2, they're
Yeah.
gone, and you're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Like
okay,
with Carrie Ann
cool."
Moss, right? Like, obviously,
Yeah,
they
I
had
mean
backstories for her, but
yeah.
yeah.
And even, what's Josh Safdie's character in Obi-Wan Kenobi, the
Oh,
Jedi
yeah.
at the beginning, and I was
Yep.
like, "Oh, Josh Safdie's in here, this is great," and then it's like, just kidding, he's
Right.
dead.
Right.
So with this one, I'm like, they're keeping him alive for a good reason, and I can't wait to see it, and it's gonna be very, very sad,
Hmm.
when he finally does meet his
When
demise,
they
so
mentioned, I think it was Rook talking with Maul, walking through the tunnel. This might have been chapter 7, where she's like, "I've followed you without question since you took the throne and at Mandalore, and
Mhm,
these other super commandos, like, they're having a hard time staying loyal if there's not as much of an incentive, like from the credit standpoint." Because one of them was carrying credits, and they're like, "No, leave the," or Rook was like, "Leave the credits. It's gonna slow you down. You'll." And he's like, "What I do with my cut is my business. Don't worry about it." And she's like, "No, we got to go." And like we kind of see
mhm.
them starting to turn a little bit. And gosh, where was I going with this? It was going to be good, I promise. But
I know it sounded like it was gonna be
um,
good, just saying.
guy, oh, where Rook was talking about allegiances can be severed, and
Yes.
because her concern was allegiance, or Devon's allegiance to Daki, and
Mhm,
Maul's like, yeah, allegiances could be severed, and she's like, I believe that, and he's like, well, then act like it. Kind of. That's not his exact words, but
mhm.
when I heard that allegiances could be severed, I'm like, okay, that makes me think that it's going to take the death of Iko Diodaki for Devon to have, I don't know, feel more free to connect with whoever she wants to connect with. But,
Yeah. That
or
that's
I,
pretty
I don't know. We'll see.
No, no, I mean, that makes sense, and it's just this thing where you're like, "Gosh, I don't know what's gonna happen next week." I mean, we have 2 more episodes, May
Yeah.
4th, they drop, and man, it is this is an incredible story that Star Wars is telling right now,
Mm,
like, this is just this ranks up there with Rebels for me and how
yeah.
well this is being told. I love Clone Wars. I know I've said it before, but Rebels was better for me.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, Rebels became something very special. And this is up there with it, and I'm like, this is really good. This is really good. So, predictions for next week. Uh,
Mm,
Docky, I think he's gonna meet his demise. I think
yeah.
one of the Inquisitors is gonna kill him.
Mm,
Um, I think Lawson is gonna get out, and I think Lawson, hmm, somehow, some way is going to become a part of an underground rebellion, if you may.
sure. Sure.
Um, and I think we will see Vader at the end of
Hmm.
season 1 or something. I think
Yeah.
we have to see Vader somehow. What do you think?
Man. Um, Kai. I think we could, you kind of hit the nail on the head for what I'm thinking with like the Yoda bit from the Acolyte, where you just kind of see him and that's about it.
Mhm.
Like it's a
Yeah.
quick, like, last second, oh, like, because we assume Yoda was privy to all that was going on in the Acolyte the whole time, and then they rope him in, like, okay, like it was obvious he was kind of there. It's kind of the same way I'm feeling for Vader right now. Like Vader's kind of got his hand on the situation. Like I'm sure all the different Inquisitors report to him all the time, and this is just one of the threads that he's following up on, but it'll take precedence because Maul's involved, right?
Mhm.
And maybe we'll
And
see
Palpatine, yeah, wants him dead. He doesn't
for
want him
sure,
brought in. He wants
for
him dead.
sure, for sure. And I'm sure Vader wants that notch in his belt to make himself look better to Palpatine, because I'm sure he's just constantly felt like a failure to Palpatine, and we see that drawn out a little bit deeper in like the comic books and stuff for Vader, which isn't as popular, but it still is really, really good storytelling. And I'm sure there's still things Vader wants to do to feel like he can make it up to the Emperor, because he lost to Obi-Wan on Mustafar, and
Mhm.
kind of had to get saved by the Emperor after being believed to be this I don't know, unstoppable force, right? And but if we see Vader, I think it'll be briefly. I don't think he'll have anything to say. Maybe we hear the breathing, but it'll be,
Yeah, I think we're gonna hear breathing. I don't. Yeah, he's not gonna speak. But
yeah. Maybe we just hear the
Craig
breathing
on
and see his leg or something. I don't know.
just the cape or something,
Right.
or even the helmet, just like
Yeah.
coming on. Craig on Facebook says, "I don't think we see Vader. I think we see the Grand Inquisitor
Hmm.
first." Which that is when he first when Maroc was talking. I remember Zach and I thought maybe it was the Grand Inquisitor we were seeing
Yeah.
in the hologram. I mean, who we don't see is the Grand Inquisitor, which again, it still might be. It still might be the
Sure.
Grand Inquisitor.
Sure.
Kind of, he's in charge of what's going on, and then he's
Hmm.
going, and then eventually maybe he's the one who then tells Vader, "Hey, that we
Yeah.
need help bringing Maul down." Um,
Hmm.
but I don't know. Now that Craig says I don't think we see Vader, I'm like, man, I don't want to get my hopes up, because if
There's
we
a
don't see Vader, I'm gonna be really upset.
there's a really good chance we won't, but I think at some point throughout the show we will.
Yeah.
Whether it's season 1, season 2, hopefully season 3, I don't know. We'll see what they end up doing, because I'm trying to compare this to like other Disney Plus era like animated shows, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. Like the Bad Batch ran for 3 seasons, and that was like the story of the Bad Batch in its entirety, right? Obviously Clone Wars had season 7, but that was Disney Plus, like post Disney Lucasfilm merger.
Hmm.
But I wonder how far they could run with this. And I'm not saying it has to be like 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons, right? But they could make this a solid 3 or 4 seasons if they really wanted to, and pack a lot in there. But um, there's definitely tons of things that would, I guess, support Vader showing up. And I think we will see the likelihood of seeing Vader before Palpatine in my head is like there's a 10 times higher chance that we'll see Vader before we see Palpatine. In my opinion,
Mm.
that's where I think it's going.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I
yeah,
don't think we see Palpatine at all. I
I
think
don't either.
we
Which
keep
is,
his name, which I'm fine with. I don't
yeah,
need to
for
see
sure.
him.
And it's kind of, I wonder if Maul's like gonna get to the point where like he like knocks down an Inquisitor or two, and he's like, give me the Emperor. And they're all going to be like, no, he doesn't care about you anymore. Like, you're just, like on our shoulder, we could flick you off like a little bug,
Yeah,
like, and just, the Emperor might just be giving Maul the middle finger, and he's letting Vader deal with it. Vader might not even tell him about it. I don't know. I guess there's all kinds of ways they could take it, but I highly doubt that Palpatine's going to be involved, especially since Janix is such a small backwater planet that just
yeah,
doesn't, it's just
yeah.
insignificant.
Palpatine. Yeah, I think when we see yeah, I don't think we will see Vader in season 2 most likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, Palpatine, just like with Andor, we just hear his name, we know he's there, we feel his
Yeah.
presence. I feel like
Yeah.
keeping him hidden is
Oh,
more than perfect.
sorry.
What you got?
Craig says we saw him today, like in the flashbacks. Yes, we did. But that was like a vision flashback. I don't think we'll see him in real
Like,
time
yeah,
in this
I don't
show.
think he's gonna come out and talk to. I mean, unless we get this crazy showdown between Maul versus Palpatine and Vader, which
Right.
would be
That'd be crazy.
insane. But then again, Maul can't even take Palpatine by himself. You know what I mean? How
Right.
is he gonna
Right.
take
We
Vader
couldn't
and
take
Palpatine?
Palpatine 2-on-1.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think as Filoni and Lucas, when they did that fight, I think they kind of said, all right, they're never gonna meet again because it
Yeah.
won't make sense
They
for
cut
Maul
part
to.
of that fight too, which kills me. You can look up extended
Oh, there was
sequences from
more.
that fight where they had like previs done, where there was
Mhm.
more done in the throne room before they kind of jumped off
Do
the
the
balcony, and
mhm.
like there was more there, and it what could I hate saying the what could have been with Clone Wars, because I should be thankful that we got what we got to end it, but
Yeah,
like
absolutely, yeah.
there's just so much still left on the table. But anyway, it still was an amazing fight. Top 5 Star Wars lightsaber fights for me. Is
And
It's up
just
there.
yeah, just how well Palpatine and kind of we made us afraid of Palpatine. And
Yeah.
yeah, Craig agrees with us. Yeah, Maul would get slaughtered, absolutely.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So yeah, I think us maybe okay, here's my prediction. We get Vader, we have the Vader versus Maul fight. Vader beats the living crap out of Maul,
Mm,
and then we may get a moment of Vader going to the Emperor, kneeling before him, and
yeah.
you kind of hear his voice, and then that's
Like at the
about
end
it.
of Obi-Wan, like I mean they talk to each other. We see his face, like we see Ian in the
Yeah.
makeup again, but
Mhm.
um was it I should have checked the credits of the episode,
Oh, was
but
that him? Was that
well,
him in the as the
Sam
voice?
Witwer has voiced the Emperor before in the
Yes,
Force
he
Unleashed
has.
games, I believe. And I know Ian has come to do voicing for the Emperor like in the last few years, for the Bad Batch, and I think he did for Tales of the Jedi, but it sounded a little different to me in this flashback sequence, to the point where I could be
I
convinced that was Sam Witwer, but I didn't stick around to
it's
pay.
yeah, I'm looking on IMDb right now for chapter 8, Sam Witwer is credited as Maul, Darth Sidious, and
Oh
young
wow,
Savage
very
Opress.
cool.
So, yeah. Um,
Wow, that's sweet.
I don't
Cool.
I don't see how Maul can live against Vader. I don't understand how that's gonna work, but one thing that I think will be very, very, interesting is when Vader fighting Maul, Vader
Yeah.
they'll talk about Kenobi. I think somehow he'll be like,
Hmm.
Kenobi is where this all started for you. Kenobi's where it all started for me too.
Well, that's
But like
assuming
their
he knows
hatred.
who he is,
Who Maul knows who Anakin is?
or knows who Vader is, right? Because
Yeah.
I guess, there's a chance he could, but
Yeah,
I
it's
guess we don't
true. Like
know,
would he
because that was a
would he
very,
know?
very, 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 like, there's a small group of people that knew who that was. I wouldn't be surprised if Maul figured it out, but I don't think at this point he'd know.
Mm,
Because he saw Anakin. Anakin was the poster boy for the Clone Wars, but Vader's not the poster boy for the Empire. He's kind of like an attack dog, and you see him when things really hit the fan, and you probably don't live to tell the story, right? So I don't even know if he knows someone exists between the Inquisitors and the Emperor. There's a
that's
chance that
true.
he doesn't even know that there's another level in between the two.
There's a the mid-tier Vader is like the top
Yeah,
tier level of
right.
this whole hierarchy. It is interesting to look at Vader in A New Hope when he's walking into the meeting room, the boardroom with Tarkin, and how everyone's just kind of like, all right, man, this
Yeah.
is weird. You
Vader
know what I mean?
released
Like this.
him.
Yeah, exactly. He's as you wish. It is interesting that Vader wasn't who like we always had this image of Vader in our head of
Hmm.
who he was and what he did in the galaxy and everything. But
Right.
then thanks to these shows and thanks to the comics you go, oh, Vader was kind of like this secret weapon that terrified everybody because
Mm.
nobody had any idea who he was,
Right.
what he was about. He just showed up after the Clone Wars and just started to wreak havoc on everybody hunting the
Mm-hmm.
Jedi down. um and I just think it's crazy to watch A New Hope and then watching everything in that scene with Kenobi where he's like, Vader hunted and destroyed the Jedi. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
He helped the Emperor hunt
Right.
down and destroy the Jedi. When I
Mm.
was young, when I saw Order 66 and A New Revenge of the Sith, I was like, oh, how does that even work? How does he hunt down Jedi if they
Right.
just killed them all? This doesn't make any sense. Now it makes total sense.
Oh, totally. When we
And I
know,
think
sorry to cut you off, but
no, go for it.
at some point, Maul knows who Vader is.
Hmm.
We don't know how. We just know in Rebels he's mentioning, to Ahsoka, Ezra, Kanan, like, Vader is coming, and I cannot defeat him alone. Like, he knows that. I feel like he's gone through some trial and error with learning how he can or cannot hold his own against Vader. And I
Mhm.
hope we see that. I mean, I think
We
Vader
have to.
would I think Vader would beat the brakes off of Maul. I don't know if beat the brakes off him is the right way to put it, but
That's a crazy way to say it, just so you know. Just
yeah, I
want you to
think
know
he
that.
could. I think he could definitely do some damage, and I don't know. Like it's weird to think about like Ahsoka fighting Vader. Like, okay, how do they both survive this? But they made that make sense. I'm
Mhm.
sure they could make it make sense for Vader and Maul to collide, and they both survive.
And you know, it's this thought I have of Filoni, like, pitching this to Lucasfilm and Disney, you know, when they first got it going, and him saying, you know, eventually Darth Vader will fight Maul. And
Yeah.
just like just that would everyone would be like, "Whoa, we have
Oh,
to get to that moment."
yeah.
And maybe that was why season 2 was greenlit immediately, which was like, "Yeah, we have to get to the moment of
Yeah.
Maul versus Vader." And all I know is I am loving this show. It's
Yeah.
great. And
Same.
it's doing everything I wanted a show about Darth Maul to do. So,
Same
I'm
here.
and again, like I've talked before, as a kid, when I saw Maul, I was about 10 years old. I thought he was the coolest looking character in
Yeah.
movie history.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And look at this. Look, and I still got this ship flying, or I always keep it next to me when
Oh,
I'm
it's amazing.
podcasting.
Yeah.
And then I even have hold on. It's a little bit bigger. I'm gonna drop things.
Dude, that's so cool. I had that Lego set and I
Yeah.
unfortunately don't anymore, but that was one of my favorites. And like I got every time I walk up to the second level of my house, I'll move my camera here.
Mhm.
I see my
Oh,
Clone
jeez.
Wars poster where Maul's in the middle. Like he's, one of the predominant figures in that. And
Yep.
I've got this is right up here. This is one of my prized possessions. I met Sam Witwer and he scribbled on my
Oh,
toy. So I got a
he
Darth Maul.
scribbled.
Darth
I like
Maul with the dark saber and his half red lightsaber, and I had Sam sign that for me when I met him, and uh, yeah, Maul's very
and
very cool.
and man, Sam Witwer, I mean, he's a Lucasfilm lifer, man. Like
Yeah,
and
oh
he's a
yeah,
huge Star Wars fan too, which makes him even like the coolest person ever. Is he
for sure,
loves Star Wars and
for
he
sure.
knows Star Wars. And I've talked about it before. I saw his panel of Light and Magic for season 2 when I was in Japan,
Yeah,
and he came on stage as the moderator for this panel, and I was just like, okay, this is Sam Witwer. But when he was talking to, you know, Dennis Muren, Doug Chang, Rob Coleman, you can tell he was genuinely like yeah, like just wanting to know
oh so cool.
everything and in the names and like how he was naming like movies that they I was like, "Oh, this dude's a nerd also." And I think that's what makes him even cooler is
Yeah,
that he's in it. It was and I'm not trying to say like me, but like if I was on that panel, I would have acted the exact same way
yeah,
talking to like Doug
sure.
Chain, Joe Johnston and be like I can't believe I'm talking. Like he would even say that too. He goes, "I can't believe I'm sitting here with you right now talking to you."
That's
And
amazing.
I said, "Okay, this guy's legit, man. He knows what's up." But yeah, back to Maul. But yeah, Darth Maul's always been my hero, and not my hero, but just the coolest character, like looking character in Star Wars. And then
Yeah,
we're getting this amazing show. And then Craig, before we head out, what was George's original vision of Maul in the sequel trilogy? So the story goes that Lucas wanted Maul to be the ultimate baddie in 7 through 9. Um,
yeah,
I think that was the goal. And if you read the book, this Art Star Wars Archives episodes 1 through 3, it's a red book. In that story, he explains Maul's journey after episode 1, and then which is why they brought him back for Clone Wars. I believe Lucas and Filoni were trying to plant the seed. Maul is still alive.
mm,
This is how it's going to go. But then when Disney and Lucasfilm said they weren't going to do that 7 through 9, I guess Filoni may have said, okay, well then can I get Maul for this? And then that's when he did Rebels, and they
yeah.
looking back, it's kind of this thing where I'm wondering if Filoni was like, well, you know what? If you didn't want to use him, then you're not going to be able to use him
Right,
ever
right.
again. I'm going to kill him off in the best way I can possibly think to kill off Maul, so you can't use him for future projects.
Well,
But
and originally Maul was supposed to be killed by Vader at the end of season 2 of Rebels. That was the original plan for his character.
whoa, I didn't know
Um,
that.
because I can't remember if it happened before or after the Ahsoka encounter, or if that
Hmm.
replaced the Ahsoka encounter at the end of season 2 of Rebels with Vader. But originally, Darth Vader was supposed to kill Darth Maul at the end of that season, and they swapped it. And I think they did a great job
Oh yeah.
bookending his story the way that they did. I thought it was fantastic. It wasn't like the most flashy thing, but it was very, every frame of that encounter was intentional, and it it all had a lot of story behind it, and it I was very satisfied with how Maul's story ended in Rebels. I thought they did a really, really good job with that.
Dude, that was tremendous writing. Like having Maul face Kenobi in the desert after all
Yeah,
this
oh yeah,
time, one more. And in your brain, you're like, oh, this is gonna be the best. And then how it ends, you just go, this makes so much sense why
for sure,
he went out the
for
way he
sure.
did. And oh my,
Yeah,
I was like, this is great. This is
yeah.
great. Maul had his moment, and then now we get a whole show of Maul too. So it's like this
Do you
is
think he's buried on Tatooine, like not far away from like the Skywalker homestead or
I would like
Lars
to
homestead?
think
I guess.
I would like to think Kenobi gave him a proper burial, which I know
Oh
sounds
yeah,
messed up, but I
for
think
sure.
he put him on a pyre and lit him on fire and on. And I in
Mm,
my head canon is Kenobi stayed there the whole time to
yeah.
watch to watch as Maul disappears into nothing and to
Well, then what would he do
honor
with his
him.
legs that stay there and survive the fire?
That's a great. It was a hell of a fire, Zach.
Okay,
It
okay. It
was a great.
really it melted some
Apparently
sand.
there was talk when they did The Last Jedi. I think Ryan Johnson said whenever Luke disappeared,
Yeah,
there was like a discussion of the hand
dropping.
falling.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
And I forget how the conversation, but they ended up saying no.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
I think they thought it would like kind of take away from that moment. But I'm like, I don't
Mm.
know. That would have been a
Well, did
pretty cool like
his rope dropped, right?
yeah, because his robe falls and then it flies
Right,
away into the
right.
ocean. I think it would have been a cool moment of like it falls and like the camera just lands on the hand and you just go, oh yeah, that
Mm,
wasn't him, and then you see the
yeah,
robe, but it's I'm not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, but
Huh.
but anyways, back to Deadpool. Um, yeah, looking forward to next week. Next week's
Same,
episode is 2 episodes are gonna be. I'm off May the 4th. Are you
same.
off May 4th?
Oh, off as in not working.
Yeah. Do you take
I
it off for a
will.
national holiday?
I wish, dude. No, I will. I will unfortunately be working, and I won't be available in the evening either. So you guys won't see
Oh
my
man,
smiling face next Monday.
that's
Um,
upsetting.
but yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that should be recognized as a national paid
It
holiday
should be
for
recognized as a
sure.
national holiday. Before we go, two things. One thing, today driving to work on Beverly Boulevard, I finally saw Mandalorian and Grogu
Nice
billboard.
marketing.
Yeah, finally. And I saw a bus the other day pull up next to me and it had Mandalorian and Grogu. But yeah, today was the first day I looked up on the billboards and there was a Mandalorian and Grogu. And I was like,
Yeah,
finally.
for
Took them a
sure.
while. Um, I'm so glad Two Boots is finally seeing what the Empire
What's happening, Anna?
is helping. Yeah. I agree. Oh, you know her?
She's
Or
been on the streams before.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
fair enough. I thought
yeah.
she was a friend of yours. Like, oh
No,
hey.
no, no.
Yeah, Two Boots figuring it out. And I love the callback to 3PO and Force Awakens. You probably didn't recognize me with my red arm.
Oh, yeah.
Like for droids, that's everything. Like when they change
Right,
something, they're like, oh my gosh,
right.
I have to focus. And for him, when he lost his boots, he was like, gosh, no one's gonna recognize me. Like
Yeah.
for him,
Oh
he has
yeah.
no idea how people could tell it's him, same as 3PO. And I thought that was a
Absolutely.
good touch that they brought back.
Dude, I
And
think
then
real quick, I think
do it.
Lawson and Two Boots are definitely going to stay on Janix and kind of help fight whatever the Empire is left there, unless they stay, in Janix until Maul is gone, or maybe he gets captured and put in Imperial custody. We never know, but I think Riley will get sent to his mom at the end of the season,
Hmm.
and Lawson's going to stay with Two Boots, and they're kind of going to. I don't know who they'll work with. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that too. It's like, are they gonna bring in, Hera? Like, is Hera
mm,
gotta come in? Like, that would be a really good reveal of
Hera's
her.
like 14 though at this
But
point.
oh, that's it. I thought she was at least like in her 20s at this
No,
point.
in
No, she's
Bad Batch, she's in the Bad Batch as like a
mhm.
teenager, and this
Yeah.
this is overlapping in that same time period
Man.
as that story takes place. It could happen, but she's on Ryloth and she doesn't even have a ship because her and
See,
Chopper sit and like stare at the sky talking about wanting to fly. Like,
see, that would for me would have been a great ending for Lawson. Like he's in jail and like the door breaks open, then Chopper comes running in, and then Hera
yeah,
comes in, like, hey, let's go. And you
yeah,
just go, oh, shit, like like, oh, this got good.
yeah, 100%.
That would be
Yo,
what?
we got a comment from Anna saying, Zach, I'm a GR local, haha, and a Rebel Legion 501st member, so it feels like we do know each other. Okay,
Oh my
I,
gosh.
so that makes sense. I remember Anna saying she was from Grand Rapids before, and Grand Rapids is like, well, you guys don't use miles as a distance for driving, right? Like you say
I
time.
lived in Texas, so I understand
Okay,
miles. Okay, what
yeah,
do
so
you
Grand Rapids is 15 miles from me, aka
Okay.
15 minutes from me. Same out here, so we're blessed with that. But
I
no,
hate
very
you.
cool, Anna. If you're going to Motor City Comic Con here in a couple weeks, I will be there the Sunday of the convention. I'll be wearing my Star Wars Stuff podcast shirt, walking around. If you see me, say hi. And if you can't make it out there, that's okay. But I'm sure I'll bump into you some way, somehow in Grand Rapids. But super cool to know that we're right up the street from each other.
That's actually pretty cool.
Small world.
That is a
We call
small
that
world.
Dutch bingo over here in West Michigan, where everybody knows everybody. Like, I could connect two random people because we know the same mutual person, like, and we didn't know that we both knew that same person. You know what I mean? Kind of.
And you said Dutch
Dutch
bingo?
bingo, baby. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Oh,
very
she's gonna be
cool.
there on Saturday.
Okay, if you're going, you need to go to the Scott Snyder panel that's happening in the evening, because I really wish I could be there, but I can't because I'm flying back from Florida with my family that day. Otherwise, I'd totally be there. And you got to let me know how it is, because I'm
That's
going to meet
awesome. Yeah.
Scott Snyder the next day. But
Yeah.
no,
Write
very
to us,
cool.
Anna, how it goes.
Yeah. Are you going to
Um,
meet anybody real quick? Sorry, I know we're kind of wrapping up here, but I don't know if you're going to see anybody or get pictures or autographs or anything like that. But very cool. Glad to see that you're going.
that's pretty cool. That's again crazy that it's just like with when Mary first started commenting, she was like, "Oh, I live in LA," and I was like, "No,
Yeah.
you don't." And
What?
then sure enough, yeah, she lives it's like I think we looked it up. It's like 20 miles or like 25 miles, but it's like
Yeah.
2 hours away. Like it's
Bro,
tremendous to get there. Yeah.
dude, that's insanity.
So
Oh, props to you guys. I couldn't do it, but I
yeah,
give you guys props.
which is why we've never hung out like ever because of that. Like there's never been a moment where I'm like, oh, let's go get a cup of. It's not
Yeah.
convenient at all for
Commit
for
4
either of
hours
us to
to
do.
drive in 20 minutes,
Exactly.
or not minutes, miles.
But
Sorry.
yeah, we don't. Yeah, that's how it is here in California. But
Yeah.
one more thing before we go.
Sure.
May the 4th be with you. Have you heard the story of where that came from? Like the first ever person to use May the 4th be with you.
Man.
You don't know. I'm gonna let you know. Oh, hold on.
Oh,
Anna says, I'm meeting Billy Lord.
wait,
Oh,
she's
that's
going
who
to
you
be there?
cosplay as. Billy
That's
Lord is gonna be there, and you didn't know that,
man,
Zach?
I was looking for like the comic book writers. I wasn't paying a I know Jerry Trainer from iCarly's going to be there, Patrick Warburton's going to be there, and John Boyega is going to be there. And then I was looking at like the comic book writers and artists for the rest of it. But that's very, very cool.
Dude, that's awesome. I feel like Billy Lord should be like up, you know what I mean? Like she should
Yeah,
be up there
100%,
for a
dude.
lot of
He's
people. You know what I
Star
mean?
Wars legacy, like
But
quite
I know
literally.
she has family. She's got, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
wondering, like, she's like, I'm just gonna be focusing obviously. But man, if she started doing the convention run, I think she would bring out a lot of
Oh,
people
totally, dude.
if she
100%,
if she
man.
started to do that circuit. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
So anyways, May the 4th.
Yes.
Apparently it was some British politician in like 1978 or 79
Yeah.
who used it for a campaign for like an event. And it was of course a ripoff of Star Wars, May the Force be with you, May the Fourth be with you.
Yeah.
But that was it. That's the first recorded ever time of anybody ever using that term,
That's
May the Fourth be
amazing.
with you. And then all these years later, it finally became like the Star Wars like
Yeah.
day. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's hilarious that just
Oh, it's
some
amazing.
politician in the 70s was like, oh, sounds like a fun thing to say to people.
Yeah.
And now we celebrate
Here
it,
we are.
you know. Here we are. Who would have
Yeah, in
thought?
5 years, it's
It,
gonna be a paid holiday. You heard it here first.
you heard it here first, folks. When I worked at the grocery store in Texas on May the 4th, I had to work there. I asked my manager on the day of, can I wear a Star Wars shirt? And she said, well, if you would have asked me earlier, I would have said yes. And we would have like
Done a
prepared it
whole
and
thing.
everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. I still do. I said, I have so many Star Wars shirts. I could have brought one for like a lot of people to
Oh,
wear at
what could
work.
have been?
What could have been, right?
Man.
Anyways, well, everybody, thank y'all so much for listening to Zach and I talk about Star Wars. It's
Woo.
been a lot of fun.
Yes.
Check us out on if you're listening to us on YouTube or watching us on YouTube, be sure to hit that bell. Comment, like, and subscribe. We want to, it helps. It's pretty cool. Instagram, we got a lot of stuff going up there. David and Mary were posting stories and pictures of themselves when they were in Vegas. That was really, really cool. So yeah, check us out on Star Wars Stuff Pod. As well as if you want to support us on Patreon, please do so. We like to post some stuff up there. We just nerd out. Sometimes we just have a conversation. There was
Yeah.
one day David and I got on and we talked about Jaws. Just we talked about Jaws. Great movie. If you want to email us, check us out at starwarstuffpodcast@gmail.com. Send us an email. Let us know how we're doing. Check us out on our Facebook group, Star Wars Stuff group, as well as Star Wars Stuff podcast page. We post all the breaking news. We post, memes. There's a few other podcasters that follow us on there, and they like to promote their stuff, which we're okay with that. As long as you like Star Wars and you like to talk and nerd out about Star
Yeah. Oh,
Wars,
yeah.
you're good. It's whenever you start talking trash to people and saying things, we're like, no, that's a no. We love Star Wars. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review. And also give us 5 stars and a 5-star review. That helps out our rankings a lot. And hey, StarWarsThePodcast.com. Check out our website. We have articles up there.
They're good.
Oh, thank you. I have to post my new review of the new episodes here very soon.
Very nice.
And yeah, thank y'all so much for joining. This has been a lot of fun. Looking forward to next week's podcast and next week's episodes. Zach, I'm sad you're not going to be there.
Me too.
But I'm sure we'll probably do a Patreon episode. We'll let you just go all out and talk about how much you love the show.
Perfect.
But yeah, I'm James on behalf of Zach. May the Force be with you
Always.